But it's like, well, yeah, I mean, maybe, but
Yeah.
in this game, I don't care what the you have. The 3M armor is like, you know, the paper you sit on when you go to the doctor, and there's the paper that's fucking 3M armor, dude.
Bro, it's What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I'm Veritas, a Kappa gamer, along with Jesse, who is not a Kappa gamer. Dude, what the fuck is taking so long?
Bro, I suck at the game, okay? The only reason why we were neck and neck for so long is because I've completed every quest that gives you a lot of XP. Like, you're still working on the Hunter quest. I completed that like a month ago. Like, I'm a quest where I got all the quests that give me the big XP. And now that I'm in the final stretch, that like million XP, I have to earn it. And I suck at that. I keep dying and getting 3 XP per raid, and I can't progress.
Is there anything after the Hunter quest?
That one specifically, no.
There's hunting trip. I mean, you only get 22,000 XP, so that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the stylish one. I'm not doing night sweep anytime soon. I'm never doing hunter. Capturing outposts is the only one that I will eventually do. 84,000.
Oh
XP.
yeah.
Counteractions. I can't find bears anywhere. Dude, there was a factory raid earlier where I killed 5 bears. But they were all like level 20.
Yep.
I killed a dude who was wearing like the samurai armor and an Alton. I've never seen anybody wear the samurai alt. And I had subsonic in my MP7, and I just sprayed him down like 3 magazines.
Yep.
And he was level 53, was a bear, and it was like Bear for You was his name. Like,
yo, thanks, like man.
But yeah, I mean that's really it. I'm really close. I have 20 for that trophies quest with the dog tags. I have 20 out of 20 USEC and 8 out of 20 bear. We're getting there.
Okay. Yeah, I've got I think 16 out of 20 USECs and 6 out of 20 bears. You know, this is where playing in a duo is going to help me. You know what 4 of my 6 are? It's either Geeks or Thick Boy Ben. They're 2 homies I play with. They're bears that are over level 50. When they die, I just scoop the tag.
A few of them have been like when I do viewer kits and I like kill them and grab their. And I'm like, oh, I need this tag. I'm getting the fuck out.
It's brutal finding level 50 bears out there.
But yeah, I'm already like 10, 20. I'm already like 20% of the way to level 64.
64?
Yeah, I'm 63. And I need 500,000 to get to 64.
You're pulling away. I don't know, dude. I was ripping through, and I got on a streak of I've had really bad weeklies, and my dailies have been so-so. I don't have any more quests to do, and I just have to like win raids, and I'm not good at that. So I'm just haven't been pulling crazy XP. I think I want to get some dailies done and then work on. Well, I get a new weekly on Tuesday, so I really hope it's good, and then I need to do some lighthouse farming for the XP. Now I'm close. I'm 100,000 XP away from 60, and as soon as I get to 60, I get to 61.5. So I'm like 400 or 500,000 XP away from Kappa, even though I'm still 59. Yeah. So it's like I'll most likely have it before the next podcast, but it really slowed down. I hit like 58. And it really slowed down for me because I stopped getting good weeklies, man. Because a good weekly is normally over half of a high-end level. You know, 250 to 300,000 XP. That's over half of a high-end level. You complete a few more dailies, boom, now you're up a level. But 2 weeks in a row, I've had brutal weeklies. So remember last week I was complaining about like killing Rashala 5 times with a headshot, and I was just like, I can do it. I hate the RNG grind because that's when I get the most mad at the game. Is that
your weekly?
Yeah. Was doing the like what you're doing with Hunter. Like, it's not necessarily that it's just like I hate the RNG aspect of it when I'm questing. Like when I'm just immersed in the environment, I'm like, oh, Sturman's here. Like I'm not thinking about like what was the percentage of him spawning. But when I have to go fight a scav boss a certain amount of times, that's just like I get annoyed after 2-3 raids in a row without seeing them, and then I don't like playing that way. So I was like, I'm not going to do the Rashala one. We'll wait for next week's. This week's was kill Gluhar from 50 meters away 5 times with a thorax or a stomach shot. And I was like, no way, dude. Screw that. Like, It's even worse. I'd rather run customs than reserve.
Yeah, my weekly is Reshala 9 times over 80 meters.
Yeah, see, that's like so ridiculous.
No fucking way I'm gonna do it.
So ridiculous.
But I will say that I've stopped accepting the ones that I know I'm not gonna do. And anecdotally, it seems like I'm getting better daily. So like I'm working on 2 right now. One is 3 GP coins and a cat figurine, and that's 36,000 XP and 900 euro, and an SR25.
36,000 XP is dope.
And then elimination 51,000 XP to kill Sturman with a headshot. So that's why I wanted to kill him, because it was both quests in one. But yeah, so that's 154,000 rubles, 51,000 XP, G28 suppressor, and M1, and some gunpowder.
That's so sick.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Oh well.
But dude, I'm close, man. I really want to get it. I'm like, I have my sights that I really, really want to get it. Ugh.
Next week, I guarantee you. By this time next week, you'll have it.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, dude, freaking Tarkov land. We got that big podcast. Did you watch the podcast?
Yep.
That's the big news.
I watched it on stream. It literally was fucking speedrunning Mario on one screen while I was watching the podcast. It's like, what else am I gonna do? I'm not gonna play Tarkov without sound.
Yeah.
Run around,
but I can do something.
Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I don't really like watching them on stream. You know what I mean? Like I like what time of day they do it, because I'm always here in my office normally doing either YouTube or admin work. So I just watch it, take notes. Like I can even be working on other stuff, like finishing an edit or like rendering a video. Like I can be productive. I can watch the video. I can take my notes, and then I can kind of like speed run a YouTube video up, recapping it afterwards.
Dude, so many people were like, "Hey, can you give me a summary of the podcast?" Every 14 seconds, somebody would come in. I'm like, "Why are you asking me?" I'm like, it's been 42 minutes since the podcast, and I guarantee you, Nice Guy, Jesse, Pestily, One Peg, Geeks. I'm like, I guarantee they've all done videos.
Yep.
All of them. And I literally pulled up YouTube, and it was Nice Guy, Jesse, Pestily, just like all of them in my sub feed with like the same like thumbnail of the fucking Lighthouse dude and everything. And I'm like, just go watch one of those. Dude, I can't.
My thing is, I always try to get it out first. It's like speed run the video. Dude, I one take wonder the whole video, throw in the B-roll, make the thumbnail while it's rendering. We send it. That's my goal. Because I can't compete. Everybody else. Nice Guy is like the guy to go to. You know what I mean? Like he's the best at the news. You know what I mean? So
yeah. If
I want any views, I just got to be first.
Now, do you find that makes a difference being first?
Yes.
Now that we've been looking at a lot of this YouTube stuff, which I've been experimenting with.
Yeah.
Like with the last video I did, the whole factory training thing, I changed the thumbnail.
Oh yeah.
Only not because I wanted to do like the YouTube meta thing about people changing the thumbnail like 2 or 3 days later, but mostly because like looked at the analytics, and it was like the first couple hours was low, and then it took off, and then it was higher than my normal, and then it started to flatten out.
Yep.
And then I was just looking at the thumbnail and was like, there's just something about it that the contrast of the gun, and I'm like, it's not clear it's Tarkov. And I think a lot of people, they look for the Tarkov, because so many people are subbed. I'm subbed to so many people like Markstrom and Clean, and lately it's been like the Cycle and Elden Ring, and like Deadly Slop too. So I'm not interested in those things, so I'm not going to watch those videos. But this time I put in like the 2 USEC PMCs from like one of the wallpapers and the Escape from Tarkov, and then there was a little upswing in the numbers.
Sometimes what I'll do is I'll have like a thumbnail, and then I'll make like 2 or 3 slightly altered versions of it with like I'll change the text of the color, or I'll make the text bigger or smaller or something like that. So it's not like a complete departure of the thumbnail, but in the first 60 minutes of a video going live, you get minute by minute analytics. After the first hour, it changes to hour by hour analytics. So I'll let a thumbnail rip for 20 minutes and then change the thumbnail and see if I see a this or a this, you know what I mean? And then I'll change it again.
Do you ever see
Sometimes,
changes.
yeah, I've definitely seen ones where I changed it and it went down, and I was like, oh, and we change it back.
Dude, I recently heard something that I forget what it was, and maybe we'll have to ask our buddy. But it was essentially like if you change anything in your title or your description, like Google and everybody has to re-index everything.
Oh, interesting.
So you might be like missing out on some.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like Google search results or if it's like YouTube search results, or I don't exactly
Interesting.
know.
Yeah.
So like ever since I heard that, I've literally been like horrified. If there's like a typo, I'm like, fuck, I gotta wait like 2 days until, which is
interesting.
probably way more paranoid than I need to be. But I'm like, if the video's doing well, and I forgot to put in one person's Twitch that, a content creator that I shouted out, I'm like, do I wait a couple of days or?
That's very interesting. I hadn't heard that, but it makes sense because it is always indexing every word. And so if you change something, it might hitch or halt something while it re-indexes. That's interesting.
Yep. So anyway, that's
mad weird. But yeah, so podcast came through. It kind of came through really quick. They just tweeted out, the Tarkov TV Live is returning, and then I thought we were going to get more info on Streets because like an hour after they tweeted Tarkov TV Live is coming back Friday, April 1st, Nikita tweeted out that picture. It was a picture of Streets with a giant rubber chicken. And I was like, we got to hear something about Streets. Now, he did say in the podcast, he was like, there was a lot more we wanted to show you today, but some certain specific things got pushed back. And I wonder if that was like a new Battle for Concordia Streets teaser with like gameplay and like actually showing.
He probably had a lot we wanted to talk about.
What also makes me think that is this podcast was 45 minutes long. Like,
I think that would have been the fastest they've ever done.
It is 100%. And so that also was like, they totally had to kind of last minute push something. But it was still super valuable, and definitely one of the reasons why they did it. Like you can tell in the very beginning, one of the first things he talked about was like, we have been working. I think at one point he said that they haven't missed one day of work. So like they're working. The game is still the number one focus. Nothing has shifted. We don't need to talk about it farther than that, but that was just good to hear. You know what I mean? It was like, cool. You know what I mean? Like they're grinding, and they had a lot to show us, and they had a lot to talk about. So I believe them. You know what I mean? I was like, oh hell yeah, let's do it. So the very first thing they showed was finally those Rhino revolvers. I remember them teasing those like 2 years ago. And they look pretty cool.
Yeah, the first thing that came to mind was I remember when they added the revolver to CS:GO, and it was just like a headshot.
Really?
Nightmare, like the old Deagle, where it's like no matter what you had, it was like a one tap to the head. But it was interesting. Super quick aside, I remember there being a video somewhere on the internet where they were talking about how is it that video games do revolvers? Because if you think about it, when you pull the trigger, as you're pulling the trigger, the hammer should go back.
Yeah.
But there's like a disconnect because you essentially click. And you want to have, you know what? I think I might have been talking about like Valorant versus CS:GO.
Interesting.
And how it's like a weird thing because you kind of want to see that the hammer going back as you're pulling the trigger, but the game can't know that you've pulled the trigger until you do it. So what CS:GO actually does is it's almost like there's a delay. If I remember correctly, now don't like crucify me if I got this wrong, but I'm fairly certain that like if you just tap really quickly, it's like it pulls the trigger but then doesn't.
Interesting.
So you have to click and hold, so it's like click pop. So you actually have to time it, but it makes it so much more like you can feel it.
Just like whoa.
So I wonder how Tarkov's going to do that. It looked like it was just click pop.
Yeah.
So basically it does the animation of the gun and the hammer at the same, like the gunshot and the hammer.
Yep.
The best part of that whole thing though was when he rolls up to the scav with the 3M armor and goes bah, bah, bah,
with
bah,
like
bah,
357, dude. He hit some like 6 times. And Nikita was like, no, please, the damage, like.
Yeah. Now, the funny thing is that I think it was Tower. It was either Tower or Sonic. Basically, was saying that like, well, actually, like the 3M in real life is like rated for like 357.
Oh,
and
really?
Probably, but it's like, well, yeah. I mean, maybe, but
Yeah.
in this game, I don't care what the fuck you have. The
Yeah.
3M armor is like, you know, the paper you sit on when you go to the doctor, and there's the paper that's fucking 3M armor, dude.
Bro, it's it's very true. It's very true. Oh, well, and I mean, yeah, there's did you see Garand Thumb's video on the Alton? Shooting the Alton? Like, dude, you're freaking, that's, you know what I mean? That's not stopping, 6, subsonic MP7 rounds like it does in Tarkov. Like, you know what I mean? And if it does, your head is jello.
The best part was that, like, it didn't, like, eat the bullets and then, like, catch them. It just dented in. It was
just caved in. Yep.
Oh my God. But it's like nothing ever penetrated. It's like, yeah, but it's like, you're not getting shot in the head. You're getting hit with a baseball bat.
Yeah, in the head. It still hurts.
Golf club, you know?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Oof.
Did you see his video on shotguns? I'll say we, but I have been complaining about shotguns a lot recently. Did you see Grantham just did a video on shotguns, how deadly they are?
Dude, yeah. And the best part of that was,
my God,
I was really surprised with, and it kind of makes sense. I've never actually seen what buckshot looks like in real life with different chokes and all that stuff. But it was just amazing to me how the slug was the slug. Yeah. You know, just a big hunk of fucking metal. But the bird shot was like, it would just like bounce off the t-shirt.
Yeah.
But the buckshot was like, and you'd see like, clink. Like there was one. It was always like 1 or 2 pellets. Now, granted, they like would penetrate.
They would have killed you.
It almost felt like 22, long rifle.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. It was like you get hit with 80 birdshot pellets and then like 2 buckshot.
Or 3 buckshot.
How many buckshot? It's been so long since I've actually like held a buckshot in my hand.
Yeah.
How many pellets are there? Is there like 50, 30?
I have no idea. And I'm sure that there's different ones too.
Wait, buckshot count in shell. Now I gotta Google it. One peg says 8. Oh, God, really? Interesting. Double odd buck. There's only 8. Holy shit!
So that's not bad. I mean, he was shooting at what, 80 meters, hitting 1 or 2 of the buckshot pellets on target.
Yeah, I wonder how. It's hard to say, like, when you look at some of those pellets going through.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of times they're shooting like the same dummies and stuff like that.
For sure. And they don't have any armor, you know what I mean? Like, of course. But it was just interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it was perfect timing when I watched that video. Because I mean, last week I was mauling about the shotguns, and then for the whole last week because like I've been so annoyed with labs. I buy a key card and it's either completely dead or then I insta die.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, now I gotta wait 2.5 hours before I can run labs again. You know, like I don't understand how all the streamers that have like 30 labs cards, their viewers all gave them to them, right? Like, there's no other way to get labs cards. I don't understand.
I don't know.
If you're running labs all day, how can you also have 50 labs cards?
Yeah, I don't know. I have like 10,
must have to.
And I just run I just buy them every once in a while. I don't really buy up until I have like a key card case full, and then if I do a day of labs, I'll use over half of them and then just not run labs again for like 2 weeks because I need to buy all my cards back.
Well,
yeah,
but I've basically been doing labs and running factory either for dailies or just because I don't feel like running around the big maps. And it's like every fight I get in, I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's using. I go loot him and it's a shotgun. And then I'm like, I check his pockets and there's 11 flechette. I'm like, oh, wow, I wonder.
Every
level
time,
42.
Bro. Every time. But yeah, the Rhino, I'm super interested. He said there's 4 different versions. He said those 4 different versions represent multiple calibers. I think 357 is the only one we saw. He said that little one he was using is a 1x1. What? I mean, it doesn't matter when you put it in your sidearm slot. You know what I mean? Like how big it is. Like you can have a.
No, but imagine looting. If you look at a tri-zip, you know, like imagine looting 30 pistols,
30 freaking Rhinos. He also said they're going to be like virtually indestructible. Because of how they're built.
And that's perfect, dude. That's really good because revolvers are just there's
they're
like
built
two moving parts.
exactly. So that's cool. I think it makes me want more of the. I think we talked about this last week. I can't remember if we talked about this. I was talking about it on stream or we talked about it last week. But like, I would love a slower time. Oh, we didn't talk about this last week. Do you know T-Rex Arms? You know that YouTube channel? Did you see there how realistic?
Kind of,
okay. One of my favorite pullaways from that was like, man, I really wish they would increase, like, not by a ton, increase the time it takes to switch primaries by like 10%, but reduce the amount of time it takes to get to a secondary, a sidearm, by like 50%. Like, I think that would be so cool to incentivize you. It's kind of a money sink because you're bringing another gun and more ammo, but like, it would just make for such cool moments to just like click, just like quick swap. I don't care if I have to drop my gun on the ground. I don't care if I just drop it on my sling. I'll go back and get it. Dope. It would be so sick. And I had never thought about that. And to see the video and literally to see him be like, because he was super respectful of the game. He's like, I love the game, but he's like, we've talked about this before. It's like, which way are you going to go? He was like, with the recoil system, you're assuming I'm a highly trained PMC. He was like, I train people and in 2 hours, they can draw their sidearm much quicker than you do in Escape from Tarkov. You know what I mean? If this is a highly trained PMC in a combat situation, like this guy's going to whip out that sidearm. I was like, yo, that would be so sick. And then so when they were showing off the rhinos, I was like, this is what's going to happen. The rhinos everybody will use them for 3 days. And then it'll be relegated into meme territory, just like everything else. You know what I mean? Like every other pistol in the game, like the Glock 18C. Everybody used it for a week they came out because like, oh, full auto Glock. And now you run into one on factory every 6 months and the guy's memeing around and it's funny. You know what I mean? And it's like, give me a reason to run pistols, you know?
Dude, I have to say, 5.7 has been one of my favorite. I can go in and wipe a 5-man in factory wearing like Altons with a 5.7.
5.7 feels real nice.
So I would run a 5.7
with like every kit
as a sidearm. Yeah, especially with I've been loving, dude. The MP7 is just too good.
It's so good, bro.
Unbelievable.
It's
so the
good.
MP7, I used to like the UMP. I mean, I still like it, but lately the MP7 is just up here.
Yep.
And because I can buy FMJ and Subsonic, and both of them perform just phenomenally.
Yep.
But one of the hard things is that you turn the corner and there's 4 dudes.
Yep.
You go, and maybe you kill two.
Yep.
Like that clip I showed you yesterday.
Yep.
But then if there's a third, what you have to do is double tap R and run around the corner. And then by the time you reload and turn around, hope that they're pushing you, and then you just peek. But it would be so sick to go switch your pistol and go for the last 2. Like, that would be sick.
Dude, the clips of being able to wipe a 4-man, 2 with one gun, 2 with the other would just be insane, bro.
Yeah, it'd be the most badass thing. But it's just too slow to be able to
for sure
to deal with that. So I wish that they would increase it for sure.
That would make pistols like the Rhino feel super cool. You know what I mean? Because then you can, like, it would add a whole new meta to the game because you've got full auto pistols in the APB or the APS or whatever, and the Glock, the 18C. Those are full auto. Then you've got the 5.7, which hits hard. The SR1MP gets no love, and that thing with the BT rounds hits hard. And then you've got stuff like, and then you would have something like the Rhino, you know what I mean? Which would be, you'd have less ammo, right? Like in a 5.7, you can throw 20 rounds, but in a Rhino, you'd only have 6. But if they hit like a truck, maybe it would be fun to, like, it would add so much. It would add so much, dude. So I propose they do that. But they showed us the new guns. The next thing they talked about was really surprising. It kind of felt like it was like a chat question that he just like elaborated on more than I thought he would, but he was talking about Arena. And he said,
I couldn't fucking believe it, dude.
I
said the day before, I'm like, this might be a hot take, but Arena's never coming in the game. Dude. They're never going to do it. They're never going to do it.
Dude, that was like last year. I was like, I'm calling it Streets this year, baby. And then like 2 days later, they did a podcast. They're like, yeah, we had to push Streets back. But yeah, dude, Arena. So the overview of what he said was it is in development and in a pretty good state. Quote, they have settled on the official design, and he talked about getting like 1 or 2 maps. It sounds like, and this would be the way to go, is it sounds like they're trying to do much more of like a vertical slice of the arena. which is the exact opposite of Tarkov. You know, Tarkov, we get everything in like a tier 0 state, and then we just iterate on it forever. It kind of sounded like he was like, we're trying to get 1 or 2 maps done, flawless, and all the mechanics and some of the game modes and that, and then we can just present that. And I think a lot of the Tarkov community would prefer that, would enjoy like only 2 maps, but finished. Yeah. These are the mechanics, and now we're just tinkering. We're not really like iterating, and then we can expand. And then he said again, he said this the last time we talked about Arena, he said again that they want to have Arena in the game this year before the launch of the game. And he said that, hopefully, he said something along the lines of hopefully that some of you can have it in your hands the next few months, which kind of almost sounded like maybe like ETS or something.
ETS, yeah.
But wow.
Dude, you know what the really subtle thing was? Did you hear what he said when he was showing off the Rhino? And then mentioned dude, I heard it and I'm like, holy shit. He said, you know, I forget, he's like, you know, it's not going to be the best pistol, you know, out there or whatever, but it'll be cool and it'll be fun. And then he says like, and you know, it's one more gun that we can add kind of to like the rotation or the pool or something, which makes me think it's going to be random gear, like randomized kits.
Interesting.
Where you say, I want to do factory or whatever. And it's like, this game, you're going to have level 3 armor and everybody's got pistols. Almost maybe like gun game. I don't know, but it's like, that made me a little bit more excited for it, because otherwise you just end up with like 1 or 2 top tier meta things. Yep. And it wouldn't be as fun. But like if one raid was like 3M and Tawses, like that'd be ridiculous. Oh, yeah.
As long as everybody
has a meme viewer kit.
Yeah. That'd be fun. That'd be fun as junk.
Yeah, he said a chance weapon, I believe is what he said.
Dude, I am so excited for Arena. I think that there's so much potential here. I think it could potentially be so good for the community. Somebody mentioned the other day, they were like, are you worried about it splitting the player base? And I remember when that was like a legitimate concern, when there were only like 4,000 people in the whole world playing the game. And they're like, yeah, we want to have arena mode and open world mode and all these modes. Everybody was like, oh, wait, but there enough people? Right now, though, I'm not worried about that at all, dude. You know what I mean? Every time they do a wipe, they're pulling down 200,000 concurrents. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about that right now.
Yeah, and so many people that complain about dead raids, when you get to the bottom of it, they're like, yeah, I choose 1 or 2 servers. And it's like, well, that's your fucking problem. Like, why are you limiting yourself to 2 servers? Just, I'm like, just choose auto and just let the game put you in whatever the most, whatever. And someone says something like auto is like for plebs. Like, he was basically saying like, that's like the lazy. I'm like, no, you're basically saying, Tarkov, put me in the first available game with the most people.
With the most people. Yes.
So yeah, I don't really know what they were like getting at, but that's definitely like the mindset I feel like that a lot of people have, where it's almost like they see their streamer buddies like, playing on specific servers and feel like that's the critical important factor as to like why they succeed or whatever.
It's exactly that. It's what servers are you playing on, bro? Like, that has so little. Like, yeah, I get maybe like, once again, if you've put 10,000 hours in this game, and you know what I mean, this game backwards and forwards, and your area, and maybe you're in an area that there's a lot of cheaters, and you play on these servers, and maybe at this time you switch servers because you play in the day, and you get low ping EU, and you get them for higher. Like, maybe there's a reason if you've put thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in this game. But like, if you haven't put thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in this game and auto works fine, unless it's for some reason autoing you to like Hong Kong and you get 3,000 ping, like, at the end of the day, if you just want to get in a raid quickly, that's full. Auto is your best bet.
I mean, like, here's the I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get like shit for saying this or not, but the meta for a lot of streamers, and I don't know if it's like a secret or not, is to choose one specific area. And it's different for everybody. And it's different depending on the time of day. But they would choose one server because they can literally run around Shoreline or run around and just loot for free and maybe come across 1 or 2 people. And I don't want to say it's how, people have 100, 200, 300 million rubles. Yeah. But I mean, I happen to know for a fact that there are lots of, well, a handful of streamers that have triple digit million rubles that are like, I play on this server and during this time of the day it's pretty dead and I just run Shoreline or I run Interchange, and it's like, you know, and then here I am on auto playing at 6 p.m. And they were like, why do you have 1 million rubles, dude? And it's like, because I don't loot anything. I play solo and I don't.
And I get into raids that have full.
I don't try to avoid. Now, every now and then, I will say, if I'm having like a real bad time, I'll choose 1 or 2 specific servers and I'll just go run nighttime Shoreline. And people are like, why is it so dead? I would be dead already. And it's like, because I don't even, like, I'm playing Tarkov right now as like, it's offline
as
mode,
close
looting.
to offline mode as you can.
Because sometimes it's like I just don't want to fight anybody. It feels so shitty. It feels like, you know, sketchy or annoying or broken or netcode or whatever, that it's like I just, you know,
which is fine. It just goes back to the, like, if you've got one server selected, don't complain about dead raids. That's fine. If you have one server selected because you're you know, ultra looter 69 TTV, that's fine. Like, loot it up, get the billion. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But it's just like, if you want raids with people in it, then open up more servers and you'll get raids with people. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty simple. So, dude, Arena, holy cow. I'm so excited. I think there's a lot of potential. It's crazy because there are still way more questions than answers. Like, we don't know how it's going to be connected to your main Tarkov account. We don't know what rewards they're going to be. We don't know if you're going to have a currency where you're actually buying kits. And then if you don't have those kits, you have to go in with a pistol. We don't know if there's going to be team deathmatch or capture the flag.
I wonder if there's a buy-in or if you can just go and play.
We don't know if there's going to be like traditional game modes like capture the flag and TDM. We don't know if they're going to have their own. We don't know if it's going to be extraction based. We don't know.
Oh God, I hope not.
We don't know how big the maps are going to be. We don't know if they're going to be shrunken versions of the maps we have, or like auxiliary maps that are like, you know, this is like a new, like the floor below factory. You know what I mean? There are way more questions than answers. But, you know, if we piece together, the reason why I'm excited about it is because if we piece together the information that Nikita has said about the arena over the past 2 years specifically, and I say 2 years because basically what I'm saying is the information Nikita has said since point 12 and the game got really popular, they are basically building arena separate from the ground up. They've said they wanted it to be on like 120 tick rate servers. And I'm not saying that any of these things are going to happen, but the reason I'm excited is because the one thing we talk about so often is the spaghetti code of Tarkov, is that Tarkov started development in 2015, 2016, and we've still got pieces of that code floating around. So I'm just excited to see they've learned a lot these past 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? And I'm just interested to see if they're building this, you know, side game kind of from the ground up. What does that look like?
I don't know exactly what he said. I would love to know the context and in like a direct quote or whatever. But I mean, I've eaten these words lots of times, but I feel like there's no way, dude. It's impossible.
I'm not
that they built it, quote, from the ground up.
I'm not even saying that he said that, but he said a lot of things that made me think that, like, oh, it's going to be 120 tick rate servers, and it's going to be
maybe the server and maybe the net code.
Yeah,
it could make sense that the like matchmaking servers and net code, they like maybe adopted a few elements of it, but maybe wrote that stuff from the ground up. Maybe it's a totally new interpolation and movement. You know, I can see that, but like, there's no way they have separate animations or
no,
like,
I don't think that. I don't think that. And I still think it's in Unity. You know what I mean? I think it's just they were able to like do things they couldn't do to Tarkov because Tarkov is live, like a live game. They were able to do things to Arena. The other thing is like, there's no way, right? I mean, I say there's no way, but like, there's no way they release Arena without a full and complete audio picture, right? Like, that would be like, you couldn't make Tarkov more competitive with this current audio. It would be so toxic. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, yes and no. Like on Factory, you very rarely run into audio issues. Actually, the only audio issues that I run into now on Factory is the tunnels underneath. There's like no occlusion through like a foot of concrete. If they had a proper occlusion there, you know, like, so there's the new area, you know, the dumpster where Tagilla hides behind.
Yeah.
If you go a quick little U-turn around the corner and to the right. It's got like is that where the helicopter is, and like
Yes.
those little bays that you would have
Yep.
like in an automotive garage.
Yep.
That area, I hear footsteps all the time, and I go over there and I'm like clearing it, and I'm
Yes.
like, oh,
And
they're
they're
underground.
underground. Yeah.
But that's really it. Like,
Yeah. On factory.
yeah. So as long as the maps aren't super
true.
complex and stuff, then
Or once again,
I can see them releasing it without redoing all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's true, because once again, 50% of the audio bugs are busted occlusion zones, which you showed in your thing. So if they're building new maps, you know what I mean, smaller ones, and they just take care of those things, then it might not be as bad.
Yeah, true. They don't have to deal with all the fact that there's like 850 fucking occlusion layers in factory. It's like we can build everything, finish the map, and then go through and put in the occlusion zones where they need to be, and be a little smarter about it. Yeah, for sure.
So that is true. Actually, I hadn't thought about that, because that would make it infinitely better, even just that.
But Nikita did say though that he said that they have fixed the Steam audio issues. So when I talked to him, he basically said, like, we know what the issue is with the ghost sounds.
Okay.
He's like, we know what those issues are. It's an issue with Steam Audio, and we've been working with them. We're just waiting for an update. So I'm sure that they just got an update.
When did he tell you that? Recently?
Like 2 days before I made the audio video.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean, he's like, there's nothing we can do. We're just waiting for a fix from them.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how much. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that I'm sure was largely dependent on like an engine update, which I'm guessing with the next update.
What I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they have the separate, branch of code that has an updated engine, in a perfect world, when you update something like Steam Audio, you go into a text file, and it's like Steam Audio, comma, quote, 2.7.3 quote, or whatever, and you just update it to 3.1.2, and then like run a script, and then it goes and grabs all your dependencies of all these third-party libraries. I mean, I don't know exactly what they do there. Maybe they just fucking click and drag a folder and say replace all or whatever. I'm not really sure when it comes to game dev. But yeah, I mean, like, unless it was like huge major changes to the library, the way that you update third-party frameworks is you almost never want to make breaking changes. So they never make changes to like the interface between, their library and the developers.
Yep.
Or if they do, they're like, we are going to deprecate this particular function call, and they just keep it in there for 2 or 3 years. And they say, you should use this new one, but we're going to keep this old thing working.
Yeah.
And it usually generates like a warning every time you compile. And then they give you 2 or 3 years to fucking fix your shit and update. And then one day they just drop it.
Yeah.
So they probably don't need to do
interesting.
anything other than just update the engine and take the, the update from Steam Audio. So he said they fixed that. He said they fixed the Steam Audio issues, and he said and the other audio issues.
Yeah.
So maybe they went and did new occlusion. Maybe it's got more modules of Steam Audio.
Maybe, because we know that they're trying to rip up to some of these newer engines, and I'm like, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, I wonder how much of it is that. I wonder how much of it is just like the fact that, because like this isn't the first time Steam Audio's had some issues that weren't Tarkov's fault. Like, you know what I mean? That they were like, hey, we're just kind of waiting on the Steam Audio guys. And I'm wondering if it's just because traditionally in the past, Tarkov has been on a relatively older version of Unity. So I know that that's something they're working on, trying to get as relevant with Unity as they can, which hopefully will speed up when things are broken, speed up when they can be fixed, or even just less things being broken.
Dude, remember when we saw the trailer for Streets and they showed like the break in the hole in the wall and then like blowing up a table and like picture frames and phones were getting. So when they showed the Lighthouse expansion, they showed a bunch of like combat stuff. Was that the Lighthouse expansion that they showed? It had some combat elements in it, or what was that? I forget.
That was all the Streets stuff. Yeah, they've shown 2 different Streets trailers. And
so they showed that yesterday?
No, Oh, you saying yesterday they showed combat? That was
Yesterday,
like
there
the
was some.
DLSS trailer, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so maybe I don't know what the deal was. But did you see the ragdolls?
Mm,
They were sick. And
interesting.
so that's what makes me think like whatever that was, it was on the new engine because I
Yeah.
remember them showing all the new physics and everything. And dude, it was sick. Like the way that one guy, like he got shot in the head and he just like fell over backwards and his legs, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, that to me was video game porn. Seeing the fucking ragdolls.
That makes
like,
sense.
Thank God, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm so hyped.
Yeah,
for that.
I really hope that they've got their internal builds on builds of Unity 2020 at this point, because I think we're on 2019. That would be sick.
I believe so. Yeah,
That would be sick. Speaking of DLSS, that was the next thing they talked about. He said that drug is ready and we should expect it in like a week. He said 2 weeks max. We get DLSS. That is exciting.
Yeah. So I do have to say though, like I know it's going to be significant.
Yeah.
Enough for a lot of like most of the player base, or if they have medium to lower end machines. But like I couldn't watch that and think like, really, that's your demo? Like they would show something and it would like wipe over and I'm like,
yeah,
all I see is worse anti-aliasing. Like I didn't notice anything. Now the frame rate stuff was cool. Like it's great that you get the same graphics just with better frame rates, but it's like you didn't have to swipe over the whole screen to update the frame rate. You know, it's like
but that's
that
almost
was just kind of a.
But that's almost a testament to how good it is, because that's all it is. Is it's just like.
Well, then I would have put the FPS in a giant box.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if they had it on screen. I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
In their demo.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the FPS counter.
Yeah, it was up in the
in-game.
top right. Yeah, in the
I was looking at. I was trying to find the details of the fine, and I would like didn't see anything. And I'm like, what is this fucking demo?
Yeah.
And I would see Nikita like look at chat and look at the thing, and I'm like,
but that's.
I felt like third party anxiety. I'm like,
oh
that
no,
would be
I thought it was
the
great.
worst. Really?
Yeah, because that's exactly
I was like,
it.
if I was the software guy demoing this, I would be like,
oh well, I'm not saying from there might have been a better way to demo it, maybe, but like that's exactly it. It was like I'm looking at all these things and I was like, I can't tell the difference here as far as quality, but this is getting 40 more frames. That's exactly it. It's lowering the quality, but then tuning it in a way so it looks well, so your game can run it. Now, unfortunately, it's like only people with like mid or high end machines, because you have to have a 20 series NVIDIA GPU or later. You have to have the RTX Turing cores or whatever. So 2060 and above, 2060 or any of the 30 series is
maybe I just got debated by so many of the DLS, because I remember when they talked about it, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah.
So then I looked up the deep learning super sampling and watched a bunch of videos, and the thing that stuck out to me was the super sampling being like they can like upscale, you know, like if you do super sampling in game, it fucking completely tanks your FPS, but like imagine if I just expected the graphics to be amazing.
No.
And that was, I'm sure that was my partial misinterpretation, but it was reinforced by the demo.
Yeah.
99% of the screen was dedicated to showing you nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed, yeah.
You get all hyped for the same graphics. I'm like, well, what the fuck? You know, what I expect is like the PlayStation 4 versus PlayStation 5, where it's like, damn.
Or like SSR off, and then you turn SSR in the water, you're like, whoa, like that's sick.
And they show like the PlayStation Porsche moving around, and then they show like PlayStation 2, right? And then they show PS5, and it's like photorealistic, but this was just like...
Yeah, no, this was just the opposite. It was like, we're not trying to, like, the graphics will definitively be worse, but if you can't tell and you get 40 extra FPS, is it worth it? And it's like, hell yeah, it is. If it looks exactly the same, but I get 40 extra FPS, poggers.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
So that,
I know what you mean.
That
was
really
part of the focus.
So that was really the thing. And it was like, and what's crazy is that, like, so the 3 modes, which are like basic, performance and extreme. I don't know what they're called, but it's 3 tiers of it. And the lowest tier, which means the graphics would be closest to, like, you know, if you have like a reference image, this is full quality. And anytime you do anything, it's a destructive. The least amount of DLSS, so the image is like 98% as good, gave the biggest performance boost. And then it was when you were tuning it up, trying to crank the frames as much as you can, and you're degrading the image more and more. Like, it was like Lighthouse went from like 71, and then just turning on DLSS to the lowest setting brought it to like 114. And then the next one was like 130, and then the extreme was like 134. And I was like, oh, sweet. That means I'll basically be able to take the least amount of DLSS, get the most amount of gain, and game close to 120 FPS on 1440p.
That makes so much sense, because like I did a whole bunch of research, and then I used to have to do this professionally with JPEG compression.
Yeah.
Because like on mobile, if you have a Facebook feed and you're scrolling, you know how if you have a bunch of 2K or, you know, huge, I mean, when you take a picture with your iPhone, it's fucking
They're
massive.
huge, yeah.
So when you're scrolling through Facebook and it has to load things in real time from a server and then also download all of the images and cache them and then load them from cache. So one of the biggest things that we used to do is when people would take a picture and like upload it to their profile or whatever, just do really simple back-end JPEG compression. And it's like if you and I forget the exact numbers. I don't remember if it was 90% or 70%, but if it was like, if you take it and do like 80% quality, you don't notice a difference, and it makes it 60% smaller.
Smaller, yep.
So you, like a little bit of tweaking, it's huge, and then you get diminishing returns.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
So similar thing. So I'm very, very excited to see. You know, I know a lot of people really struggle with Lighthouse specifically. You know, it's the least optimized map. They showed that one. I just think, it would be sick. It would be sick. I mean, we're days away from it. He said 1 week to 2 weeks max. I'm super excited to test it out, and like being able to get 1440p, 120 frames all day would just be nuts on any map. That'd be so sick. And then he talked about FSR, which is AMD's version of DLSS, which is not exclusive to AMD cards.
Yeah.
So when FSR comes in, if you've got a 1070 or a 1080 Ti or something like that, you'll be able to use that, which is kind of nice.
Dude, and also Intel, I believe, recently announced
their AV1 cards.
Yeah, so that basically, you know, kind of does the same kind of thing. I was watching Epos Fox's video. I didn't get to finish it. I need to go back and
I've been
finish
so
it,
excited for AV1, man. I need it. I want it. We're still like 4 to 6 months away from the dedicated PC graphics cards. That's something I want so bad I might be an early adopter of. Like, if like I might buy the Gen 1,
like the $3,000.
Yeah, Intel dedicated graphics card just for the AV1 to throw in my stream rig.
Out of touch fucking millionaire streamer.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Just for that. Because I want to be I want to be one of the first guys streaming freaking 1440p, 120 hertz to Twitch.
Is that even possible with fucking 8K bitrate?
Yes, that's AV1. You should finish that video. They've been doing that. Twitch and Nvidia and Intel have been working on this. Like, Twitch has been working with Nvidia and Intel on this stuff for a long time. Like, AV1's just a brand new encoder, right? We've got NVENC, you know, and then you've got the X264. Like, those both do the same thing, right? You can encode video with both of those, but they, you know, the NVENC and the newer NVENC on the newer cards was like, especially on those like 20 series cards, were like, this is like specifically designed to like encode at lower bit rates, and it's helpful and whatever. Like, AV1 is the same. Like 3 or 4 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, ePostbox reported on in like a press conference, that one of like boring ones, not like a con that everybody watches, like a back end boring board meeting press conference. The Nvidia or somebody was working with Twitch and showing off at 8K bitrate a Call of Duty, a Rainbow Six Siege stream at 1440p, 120 frames per second. And it wasn't great, but it was like, oh my God, this is possible. Like, the whole thing of AV1 is it's like ridiculously efficient with those bits.
Well, so I remember when
in my opinion, it is why Twitch is not increasing bitrate caps for partners, because they're investing in AV1 instead of giving everybody more bitrate.
So when I first got my gaming rig after I won that whole NVIDIA Stream On thing, I made friends with one of the guys who works on the NVINC encoder, like one of the developers for it, and also works on OBS and everything like that. And he walked me through setting up a bunch of settings. And I was playing Tarkov and streaming to Twitch in 4K, and the machine could handle it just fine. And you didn't even know, but it was indistinguishable visually from 1080 or 960 or whatever it is that we're 936. So I mean, that's the problem. Like, you can, I think I just need to learn a little bit more about it. I just don't know how.
Epost Vox has been the one that I've learned most of it from. He's covered that thing they did a while ago. He actually has footage of the stream that they were doing, the test stream on 8K bitrate. And then
in that same video I was talking about?
No, in an earlier video he did about AV1. But in the video you were talking about, he talks a little bit more about it towards the end of the video on specifically. Now, it's not, I don't even know if this first round of graphics cards will be able to do it. Like, you know what I mean? I know that everybody in the industry is excited for it. Like OBS, like if you're on the newest version of OBS, like in their patch notes, it talks like AV1 support. Like, you can't really do anything with it yet. Like, they know that, but but
it's good they're out ahead of it.
Everybody is basically, all they're doing right now is fronting and showing that we all have a vested interest in this. OBS is like including it even though nobody can use it. Intel's putting it in their cards even though there's not a whole lot of use cases for it yet. Twitch has been investing in it. Like, everybody's saying, like, this is the future. The future isn't give everybody 50K bit rate. The future is be more bit rate efficient, and AV1 is where everybody's putting their eggs in that basket. So I don't even know if we're going to be able to stream on it in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, but it's coming. It's what everybody's working on, and I'm pumped about it. That's pretty cool. But DLSS coming soon, which is sick, and then FSR coming not necessarily soon, but soon. And then at this part of the stream, he got into a bunch of these like random quality of life things. Or not even some quality of life, some just like new features and I loved how they were doing this. Everyone had its own little like video, like showing it off. I was like, yeah, this is sick. Because it just helps remove any sort of language barrier. You know what I mean? How many times have we like, oh, well, Nikita said this, and it's like, well, he meant this, and it's just some like, so it was cool to be able to see that.
It was well presented. They've definitely stepped up their game, because back in the day, it used to be like, Nikita would be clicking through fucking like Windows folders, and it would be legit, like preview_1, preview_. This was like
the old Nikki Leaks day. Yeah.
So they're doing well with that.
Well done for sure. But so the first thing was the crafting. The like auxiliary items is what he called it, which is like anything. A screwdriver, you wouldn't break a screwdriver every time you used it. A sewing kit.
I never thought about that. That's crazy to me that I never thought about. It never occurred to me.
No, me either.
Mostly, I guess maybe I never craft, so that's probably why. But
so those things will become auxiliary items that are taken from your stash while you're crafting and then given back into your stash. I'm very interested to see if they go the key way, where it's like you find a sewing kit and it has 100 durability, and every time you use it, it takes 1, or maybe if you're crafting a big thing, it takes 5. That would add a level of like, oh, this is a rare item. I only have 20 uses left on it. This thing I want to craft takes 15 durability. I think that would be cool. And then I was wondering, I was like, why is this needed in the game? Until he was like, and then this allows us to make all these items really rare. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Because I was like, I can find a screwdriver in every other filing cabinet. Like, why is this a big deal? But if they can then kind of mess with the economy, and now there can be tons of items that are valuable and rare, not just like a few key cards, you know what I mean? And you find a thing and you're like, oh, sweet. And like, now there's like so many different ways to get like head starts at the beginning of a wipe. Like, I found a sewing kit early. I didn't find a labs key card. I didn't find but I found a sewing kit. And so I can like bust through these crafts and get these quests done or something. So it was really interesting for sure.
I hope that they don't go down the route of it might be a little bit better if they have durability, although it also then kind of, it's already convoluted as hell to figure out, like,
Yeah.
is this fucking craft worth it when you have two things worth 20,000, two things worth 50,000, and it
Yeah.
makes something worth 140,000? You're like, that's not really worth, other than like
Yeah.
leveling crafting.
Yeah.
It's like I could just sell the things right now and get the same amount of money
75% of the value, and I don't have
if
to
you're
wait.
crafting to sell, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're crafting for like a quest or whatever, I get that. But whenever they say anything about rare,
Yeah.
my skeptical alarm bells
sure.
go off, because unless they ban it from the flea market,
Yeah, it's
what
not
you'll
rare.
have is someone finds a screwdriver and they're like, boom, I can craft shit from the rest of the, and then they find two more screwdrivers, and everybody will always have an extra screwdriver, meaning that there's going to be 10,000 listings for sale on the flea, meaning they won't be rare anymore.
Yeah. If you want to make something truly rare, you have to remove it from the flea, because the cycle happens where we made this item rare. You've got 200,000 people playing the game, so people are putting it on the flea. Oh no, we don't want it on the flea. Let's tax the hell out of it. So now it's on the flea for barters instead of for this, and then really it all comes back to keys are the currency, right? Like that. Everybody, if you can't sell something for money, you barter it for keys. Keys are always the eventual currency. So if you want something to truly be rare, you have to completely remove it from the flea. And you definitely do get into weird places now where it's like, once again, my whole video of like the civilian flea, no guns, ammo, you can kind of explain that, but it's like talking about getting convoluted. It's like, why can I sell bolts but not a screwdriver on the flea? Like, you know what I mean? Like, then you start to get in this weird territory. So I have no idea how they're going to do it, but they showed that off, which was just interesting and not something that I had thought of before.
Man, imagine if the flea was just like, it had a bunch of different booths, and it was like, there's a medical booth, a crafting materials booth, and then like not a tools booth and not an ammo. Then it wouldn't be convoluted. I mean, not that that necessarily makes sense, but it's just the first thing that came to mind, of making it so that that would explain
There's some sort of explanation. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
The next thing he showed off was repair kits, which was super interesting. He said, so they showed off an armor repair kit and a gun repair kit, and he said there will be a knife repair kit, which is very interesting.
Oh yeah, they do have durability, but you almost never use them enough to make it go down.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I believe a lot of people took this as like, yo, sick, I can repair my guns and armor in raid. And I'm pretty sure Nikita confirmed to Pestily that you cannot use these in raid. But I didn't even take it that way. A lot of people took it that way and then were disappointed when that came out. I didn't take it that way. Like one of the first things he said about them is that these will be really rare. Like I wouldn't want to take that into a raid with me. You know what I mean? If they're hard to find, you know, I saw it as like especially for armor specifically, right? Like if you find a Gen 4, you take that off a Rashala guard, like it repairs decent enough to use again, but it costs 200,000 rubles to repair. And you're like, Jesus, like I could sell this and buy 11 MMAC class 4 rigs. You know what I mean? So it's like, but that would be crazy to be able to just like, well, I found a repair kit. I've been like, I'm still going to repair out of pocket my trooper armors and my MMACs because they're so cheap to repair. But I found this Gen 4. I'm going to use the repair kit. Now I've got a dope, maximally repaired class 5 armor that I didn't have to pay for at all. I was like, that's where I was thinking like, that's going to be sick.
What the most significant thing to me was that it showed a gun that was like 30% with its maximum durability down, and he was able to get it up to like 98%. So that means scav guns are now usable.
See, that's my question. Is that the case though? Because I thought that
that was one of the demonstrations.
I thought that the video was just the gun was 30 out of 100. Like it was just shot down to 30. Not like a scav gun where it's like
that gun has never existed. Such a gun has never existed.
I agree, which was why I thought it was a bad example when they were talking about the guns.
No, I took it as it was like 31 out of 34 or something, and you know maybe are you looking to pull it up?
I am. I have it, but that is literally exactly what I was going to say. Was that the weapon ones are basically useless because it's so cheap to repair your guns, unless they allow you to repair scav guns. And I've got it pulled up right here. I clipped the video. I've got the video pulled up right here. The vector he opened up was 30 out of 100. Like that maximum durability thing wasn't down at all. And then he repaired it, and it repaired to.
Do you have like a timestamp to that? I wanna see.
I don't know how big this file is, but like.
No, normally can't you just like share it?
I watched the podcast with my replay buffer on, and I replay buffered things so that I could throw them so that I could actually use the footage and throw them into my video. Yeah, it's too big. Here.
All right, so maybe that's the case, but I mean,
but that's what I was gonna say though. It's gonna be useless unless you can do that because they're so cheap to repair. You know what I mean?
Not necessarily. So here's the thing: I have a major issue with gun repairs right now because I've yet to find a single case where repairing a gun is worth it. Like almost never, because here's what happens: I can only survive maybe 2-3 raids. Even if I'm spraying a million rounds with like an MP7, what happens is it gets down to 96, and then if I repair it, it just goes up to 97 because the maximum comes down.
Yeah,
and then if I happen to get it down to like 92 and I repair it, it's at like 94.
Yeah.
So it's not worth. It's almost like it would be better if I were to stay alive and burn it down more. Because then when I repair it, it's only going to take a little bit off the top end.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
So the problem is that like the repairs the maximum should go from 100 to 99.5 to 99.
Yeah.
Basically repairing your own gun is pointless in my opinion because you'll never live long enough to make it so that repairing it isn't going to diminish its total, because it's not like armor. Right? Like armor is your durability, the current durability, that matters. So even if the max, so if it's zeroed out, like repairing it, even if it brings the maximum down, you're still drastically increasing the protection from it, right?
Yeah.
But if you repair it from 90 to 92, like it's still you just increase or decrease your chances of a malfunction by like a non-significant amount. So in my opinion, even if it burned down faster, I'd be fine if within one raid it would get down to 50%, as long as when you repaired it, like in between every raid, almost like armor, it wouldn't completely bring it down to because like if you get lucky enough to survive 4 raids, your gun's at like 94.
Yeah. Well, did you see they actually increased the durability burn on all guns this week in a little secret update?
Interesting. I didn't know.
It was like 15% faster. It wasn't a huge thing, but guns now diminish a little bit quicker. So I still think they're trying to dial that in. It does feel like the current speed at which guns diminish almost feels like it's more prepped for open world. Like you could be in there all day and then be like, oh, I'm at 50 durability, I should repair or whatever. But armor, you get shot twice, and if you exit that raid, you're like, I need to repair this armor. I have to repair this armor.
So just to give an example, I have so I have a UMP, and it's at 98 durability. Like, would you repair that?
I have put 0 science into my thinking. Every single raid I survive, I repair my gun.
Okay, so let's just look at. So I have an AK that I stole off a dude, and it's at 99.1.
Yeah.
And I have this UMP that's at 98. So if it's at 98, it costs 200 rubles to repair it.
Yeah.
And then I repair it, and it's at 98.7.
Yeah. Did you repair with prep war mechanic?
Yeah, prep war. Okay. So then now it's just like, I don't know. I'm just not convinced that it just doesn't do enough.
You could be 100% right.
I would love it if, like if you have a cleaning kit or something, or like a parts kit or whatever. I want to be able to take a gun and get it up to, no matter how bad it is, get it up to like 99% every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like use it a bunch and then you clean it, and it's like you lube everything, you replace a few parts, a few springs, a few whatever, and
Yeah.
It sucks so bad when you get a gun that's so shitty. It's like, I don't even want to use it. And if you
Yeah.
repair it, it's going to increase it from 45 to 49. It's
Oh,
like,
for
okay,
sure, for sure. And
um,
also the availability of guns plays a factor in this, right? So like they made the durability at which you're going to malfunction 95 because everybody like dies so frequently and everyone is building new guns. And because they want the malfunction to happen, right? That's why they made it at such a high durability. But it's like if you want people, basically what happens is the meta thing to do is repair your guns, and when you're at 94.9, just replace the lower receiver or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Or the AK, just like immediately, because you can replace it. You can replace it. You can replace it. If like in a world where like, let's just say this is like if they did an event where they were like, no more guns are purchasable, but here's a repair kit that can repair stuff up to like 100. Well, then if you didn't have a repair kit, you might use your gun down to 50 durability. If they like lowered the when it's going to jam to like 60 durability, it would be interesting to see how long guns lived. Like it'd be funny to kill a guy and then pick his gun up and be like, this is 30 durability, I'm going to repair this. You know what I mean? Or it's 70 durability, it's not worth me repairing. More like kind of like the Stalker. I'm not saying that would be good for the game, but as long as guns and the lower receivers and stuff like that are infinitely available, repairing is useless, and the jamming function has to be at 95%. Like if your gun is ever going to jam, it has to jam on your 7th shot, or else it's never going to jam because you have infinite access to every gun. So every time you get like they could make the durability change instead of 95, 98, and still there would be the same amount of jams in Tarkov because people would just buy guns. Like as long as brand new fresh guns are infinitely available, nobody's jamming their guns.
Yeah. So what was I going to say?
So I don't know what the solution is, but yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like I wonder how this affects new players. I feel like it probably way disproportionately affects new players.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what we did for years was like, you know, go in, half the raid was hatchlings, the other half the raid was like a stock SKS.
Yeah.
And then you'd go in and you kill a bunch of scavs, you take all their guns, and then you'd build them.
Yeah.
Because durability never mattered before malfunctions.
Yes.
Well, now durability matters because there's malfunctions, and every single scav's gun is 42%.
It's so dumb.
And you can. So I wonder how many players are like, oh, I looted 2 scavs and got 2 guns. I'm so excited. And then the next raid they get in and go bang, click.
Yeah.
And then they just die because they don't understand. You know, like. They probably would never even notice the flashing in the lower left-hand corner. They wouldn't know how to clear it. Like, there's no fucking way that they would know.
No way.
There's no way,
dude. The game doesn't tell you, like, yeah, you see the flash, then you have to hit L. I got a malfunction the other day as a scav, and I was surrounded by rogues. I was in a little connex, and I was yelling at chat. I was like, how do I clear this stupid jam? I forgot I was hitting Shift T, but you have to hit L first. And I knew that. I just forgot because it had been that long since I had a malfunction.
Yeah.
And I've got 4,000 hours in the game. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. If you're new and you kill a scav and you take his gun, you're gonna jam, and there's 0% chance you're gonna know what the hell to do when you jam.
Yeah, dude. A lot of people have been saying that you should, and I did this first. This is the pro tip everybody has, and then I've since undone it, and I've actually tried to convince people not to do it. They would have like examine on L, on press, and then
on release.
Fix on release.
Yeah.
The problem is that if you time it wrong, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because you examine it, and then like sometimes if you don't wait long enough
and you let go, it won't.
And you let go, then you have to press it again. So you're sitting there, and every second counts if you're getting chased down.
Yeah.
So that fucked me over. So now I have it on examine, and then on double tap, and I just I hit L, and then as soon as I hit L, I can just mash
because you're already in the animation, so you're not canceling it. And as soon as he's done, the double tap comes through. Yeah.
Yeah, so that ended up being way better because
sense.
I never fuck it up. But I just put out a recent video that was like how to get good as beginners.
Yeah.
Where it was like finally my magnum opus on run factory over and over and over and over again, and hear all the reasons why. And I have a couple of sick clips where like I had I think an AK-74. Which has felt really good. The 74U, the small ones, dude, those kitted out feel fucking good.
Yeah.
And I like ran around the corner out from glass hallway Tagilla comes screaming at me, and I'm like, empty a whole mag into him, and the last bullet he dies, and then I get a malfunction. So then I'm like I run over, I like reload. So that's the other problem, is that I hit R to reload, and it's like, fuck, I gotta wait till the reload finishes, and as I cross the corner and I see a juicer coming at me, I'm like, oh, turn around, go the other way. And as I'm going, I'm examining it. I end up in that little hut where everybody like camps the exfil. And then I'm in there, and then I'm fixing the jam. And right as he comes around the corner, I just pre-fire him, and he walks right in and was like, oh my God. Like, the awareness of all that stuff was like so key. And then also there's a clip in that video where I'm doing offline mode, like gun game. It was one of my things where it was like, this is the hard mode of the first part of the practice was offline mode, easy, only headshots, single fire. But it's like the logical conclusion after you turn the difficulty up, and maybe you put it on horde mode if your computer doesn't melt and all this stuff. It was gun game. So you have to grab a semi-auto gun, go and headshot scav, immediately run to them, try to loot their guns. So you have pressure of all these scavs coming at you. You have to loot the gun, switch guns, and then you have one magazine. If you have a TAWS, you've got two shots. So then to get another headshot on a scav, and then if you're getting swarmed, you might have to run around to try to run back. Because like the rule is you can't kill anyone else, and there's a clip from that where I have a double barrel, and there's like 4 scavs trying to filter out of the bathroom, and I was like bang, bang, and it was the first time I had a malfunction. It was sick on the shotgun. The fucking big red thing was just stuck out of the and it was like
the stove
you see him kind of go,
it looks
you
so
see him
sick.
like, and it was so awesome. Normally with all the other guns I don't notice anything, but that was like, I didn't see the flash, I didn't see the pop-up, I saw the fucking shell stuck, and I'm like, oh, I wish there was more obvious.
There are, it's just, once again, so like it all depends on what type of jam. Every gun, I think, every gun that ejects rounds like that has a stovepipe type of malfunction. It's just that, like, which malfunction did you get? Did you get a failure to feed? Well, there wouldn't be any visual, right? It was just the bullet didn't go in, so you have to check it.
Well, I'd expect the slide to be half lock back. Or like maybe your PMC will do like a weird, he'll like look at it automatically and be like, I think that they could do something a little bit better notifying you, because honestly, for the first month of the wipe, I didn't know there was a flashing red light.
You know what would be sick? You should absolutely, your PMC should absolutely automatically inspect, because then you wouldn't need an immersive braking red light. It's the reaction of your PMC. If that has to happen anyway, if it happens immediately, it's still not OP, right? Because I can't shoot. But it's visual feedback right where you're looking, which is down the barrel of your gun, that I have malfunctioned. You know what I mean? So you should have to do that immediately, and then you can hit Shift T, and it'll clear whatever it is, or it's reload or whatever. That would be so much better, because you wouldn't need a flashing red light. You'd never miss it. You know what I mean? And and then you'd be able to see some of these cool, and hit a voice line. Some of the, like, where he's like, God dang it, you know what I mean? Or something like that. That would be so sick. Imagine hearing that. Someone's pre-firing you around a corner, and you hear him calm like that, and you just push, you know what I mean? Like, that would be...
Dude, I was just showing somebody, they were talking about Immersion, and I pulled up my Getting Tarkov Immersion video where I showed Insurgency Sandstorm and how good the audio is. And some of the best things is when you're like, oh, fuck my leg. Like, it's so good. Or when you're running along and you see one of your teammates die, you're like, oh, teammate down. Like, one of the other guys screams it. Like, you now have... I wish that your PMC would say more things kind of automatically. I don't know. It would just be so sick, because it gives you information and immerses you in it.
I mean, that change that's happened where, like, the scavs are doing that better now. With, like, if you're shooting, the rogues and raiders are the ones where you can understand it, but I know it's happening more with scavs too, because they I have narrowed down shit. I don't my pronunciation is gonna be terrible, but like shamish, that means grenade. I know that now. There's a clip.
I always thought they said granada.
That's like, one of them, but like there's a clip of
was it like shimmy?
There's a clip of Killa we were fighting him. It was one of the events when he was on factory and he was stuck in a loop. I was hiding behind a thing healing, and he went shamish, shamish, and then I'd hear a nade blow up, shamish, shamish, and it went on for like 6 minutes. We were just like, what? He was throwing just infinite grenades, and then we pushed him. And I've been noticing very recently since that change, where like the raiders, scavs will do that. They'll yell that before they throw a grenade, or if I throw a grenade, they'll yell that. And I'm like, oh, this is sick. This is like, I know what it means, and so it can give me context. Because sometimes scavs throw grenades and you don't hear or see them, you just blow up. But now whenever I hear that, I just run, and then there's always a grenade or a flash or something.
See, I always got that except for like Rishala's guards and stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, like a scav would throw the grenade and yell like grenade, like.
Yeah.
So I feel like I always
sometimes.
I mean, because that was how, especially like the raiders on labs and stuff, like that was how the meta was. Open up the door, throw a grenade, and then they would. Now they don't respond unless the grenade lands at their feet.
Yes.
You can't fucking do it anymore, and I hate it now. Because now they just like sneak up on you.
But anyways, I agree. I think it'd be cool to if your PMC yelled some of that a little bit more contextually as well. But anyways, bringing it all the way back, I agree. I think the armor repair kits, the weapon repair kits, there has to be some more done there. I hate that all the scav guns are completely unusable now. There's no way to repair them up. There's no way to pay an extra premium and get that maximum durability back. It's the you know what I mean? Exactly right. It disproportionately affects new players. When you're new to the game, your largest supply of weaponry is pulling them off scavs, not other PMCs. You know what I mean? And you just can't use that anymore. Like,
all they would need to do is just make it so that rather than be 36 out of 42, it's 36 out of 100.
Yep. Yes, I know.
Problem solved.
I know. I was saying that the same day they did it. Yeah, the whole max durability thing is just weird, man. It's just
maybe the repair kits repair it without, like, that would be cool if it, like, I don't know, maybe they repaired them. It didn't change the max durability. Maybe it would like bring them up to like 95.
Yeah.
But it would still be 95 out of 100, and then maybe you could pay rapport, to make it 98 out of 98 or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's probably ways of doing it.
I just hope they do more with that. The armor one, I'm really excited about. The knife one is really interesting, and the weapon one will just be weird. Moving on, the next thing he talked about, huge quality of life. I'm so excited for both of these things. Talking about dailies and weeklies, they added, the very first thing he showed was a daily that was kill 10 scavs with SMGs or shotguns. That was it. And I was like, thank you so much. That's so much better. It's a best of both worlds. It can push a PMC to use a weapon type they don't use, but it allows them to pick the weapon. Ugh, so much better.
That always makes me wonder, like, how many times, we've said things like that. I have to know, like, was it like when we had him on the podcast and mentioned it? Is it one of the messages I sent him, or did he ignore everything I said and they just came to the right conclusion? It's like, I need to know, because I always want to ask him, because it would just at least give me the confidence that it's worth fucking continuing to do the thing. Because he eventually hears, or if I'm just yelling into the void, I don't know. But yeah, I'm stoked for that too.
That's good. And then the next thing was re-rolling quests. And they did it an interesting way where there's a cost associated with it, because the way they made it sound is like you'll be able to re-roll every single daily and weekly you quest once. You can re-roll your weekly and all 3 of your dailies, but there's a cost associated in trader level and money. I thought trader level
I didn't see the trader level.
Yeah, it was like 0.01. But it was interesting because once you get past the requirement for max trader, your trader level is irrelevant. So that might be an actual give and take of, I've got max traders, but I want to do a few extra mechanic quests to give me leeway if I want to re-roll some dailies. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now, because you get like 0.03 rapport rep, and it's like, who the fuck cares?
Who cares? But now if there's an actual give and take to that on, like, I want to make sure I have an extra point of rep so that I don't fall below back to level 3 and I can re-roll. I thought that was an interesting way to do that, because, all trader rep past whatever you need for max level is just is just dumb. You know what I mean? So so that was really cool. I am very excited about that. I'm very excited about the reroll. That's sick. I was actually doing this the other day. If you have Tarkov up, you can look at this. You can look at how much XP you've received this wipe from operational tasks.
Dailies?
Yeah. So
Oh,
dailies and weeklies. I have almost exactly. I got 2.7 million XP from dailies and weeklies, and I went on the wiki and I was like, how far would that get me if I was at like just that amount of XP if I was a level 0 brand new account?
So like 10 levels.
42.
From 0 to 42?
0 to 42. That's how much XP I've gotten this wipe from dailies and weeklies.
Holy shit. Well, yeah, but the problem is that's a shit ton of time spent doing the like level 46.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying, for sure. You couldn't do that. You couldn't just get to level 15 and then only do dailies. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying over the course of a wipe, that's a significant amount of XP. And it would be so much more if I could freaking re-roll the ones that I hated and got a few extra ones. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I would love to know somebody who, what was it, 46? What was the threshold?
46, yeah.
So I want to know someone who's 45. I want to know what they're, if there's anybody in chat right now that's level 45 or like somewhere between 42
and has done
and 46.
A decent amount of the operational tasks.
Yeah, then let us know how much experience you've earned. I bet you it's like, I want to say like 500,000, 600,000. I'm at like 2.2 million.
700,000.
How much money have you made
from them? I don't know. Let me open up my
700K at level 43. Isn't that what I said?
You said 500K. I said 700K.
Okay. Well, well, you know what? Nobody remembers.
Nobody remembers.
Nobody remembers.
700K. 700K would get you to level 27, 26, 27.
That's going to be like the new hardcore challenge, is like just dailies.
Yeah. You have to get level 15 to get weeklies, and then just dailies and weeklies. Anyways, that's just exciting. So imagine that. Okay, so let's take that as a great example. Level 43, 700K. If he was able to re-roll a percentage, not all, of the ones he didn't want to do, and then of those re-rolls, be able to complete a percentage of those, not all, because you might re-roll to a worse one. Like
it's probably 50, 60, 70%
exactly.
more
He
XP.
could easily turn that 700K to 1 million, 1.2 million, and at a level 43, like a 1 million extra XP. That's sick. So I'm very excited for the re-roll stuff. Money from operational tasks, 8 million.
So this is 8 million?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at 6.3. Yeah, so this is interesting. So level 42, so level 43, 700K, level 42, 400K,
yeah,
42, 322K, 42, 470. So it seems like it's somewhere between 400 and 700K around,
depending
like
on how much you
42-ish.
focus them down.
Yeah, so it's probably, I would say an average is probably like 500K or something like that.
And honestly, between levels 40 and 45 are the times where it's the least worth to do them, because you're getting so little XP. When you're level 27, 8K XP is a great amount of XP. When you're level 44, 8K XP is no XP. Then when you're 46, 38,000 XP is a good amount of XP again. So when you hit level 40, they become irrelevant for the next 6 levels, and then they become relevant again.
Yeah, for sure.
So that I'm super excited about the dailies and weeklies, man. Those are both amazing quality of life.
Dude, it's amazing to me how many quality of life things that they've added. It's like part of it's good and part of it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So many great ideas I never thought of that I'm excited for.
Yeah.
And none of the other
and then
fucking
all
great
the
ideas.
Super low-hanging fruit ideas are still,
Which is kind of like, I get it. Like you're always more exciting. It's always more exciting building new things from the ground up
than fixing,
like polishing your Ferrari instead of derusting your fucking Lada. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's just not sexy, but at the same time, it's like,
oh, I get it. I get what you mean. Then they showed off the flare gun, calling in an airdrop. And then
now I'll play other maps. Now I'll play woods. I'll spawn in and go and just be like, all right, I need to get killed at the pier. Now I have a way to draw people to the fucking pier.
That's actually super sick. Yeah. What was so interesting is he was like, oh, I thought this video was going to have I thought this video was going to have more of the types of airdrops, but I guess we'll just show those later. So he said that there's going to be different types of airdrops and different flare rounds that serve different functions. Now, you could take this a few different ways where like maybe you get ones that are like more military loot, like gear and guns, maybe med crates ammo. And supply crates. Or you could even do like, imagine, it's you drop a crate and it's like a one-time use. Only one person can go in it, but you can load it up with stuff and the scavs will come get it later. When it closes, it locks and you can extract loot that way.
Dude, imagine if you could put it in like a chest and then like press a button and it would like inflate a balloon.
Yeah, dude, Metal Gear Solid. Do you remember that? What's that called?
I've seen it. I've seen.
What was that called?
What is it?
When
The
you would
Phantom
do that?
Pain?
Yes. There was a term, Fulton, I think. Oh, there's a freaking nerd. Yeah, Fulton. Yeah, you would do that. You would just like do it to someone's leg.
But you do it to the bodies, right?
Yep. Oh, dude.
Funny, dude.
That was a great game. Anyways.
I've seen a bunch of it when I was researching AI. I saw a bunch of gameplay, but yeah, it looked fucking hilarious.
That was so great. But yeah, like that would be, obviously people would freak out about that. But there's a lot of different things that you could do with the different types of airdrops. So I'm very interested to see what that is. All right, so the next thing they showed was the water treatment plant, or sorry, not the water treatment plant, but the Lighthouse Expansion. We got a video. There's a lot more to it than I thought. That island was bigger. There was a lot more buildings back there. I literally thought it was going to be a bridge and the lighthouse, and it was like the trader was going to be up there, and that was it. But there's like buildings, there's garages, there's roads, there's hills back there. So we got to see that, which was really cool. We didn't get any new information, more stuff that we knew. We know there's going to be a boss up there that's guarding the trader. We know that the trader is going to be hard to get to. We knew before that you're going to need some sort of item that gives you access to either that bridge or the trader or something. They've said that before, so that wasn't new information. He is 100% in with the cult. I don't know if you've seen all that stuff going around afterwards. In the picture, like that.
I just saw the picture. It looks like there's some fucking Cthulhu mask-looking motherfucker in the background.
So there's that guy. A render, like a T-pose render of that guy was leaked like 2 or 3 years ago when by Nikita. They were talking about like cultists way back then, and he was like, "Look at this guy," and then we never saw that. Like he's not any one of the cultists. Like that guy with the antlers. That's there. He's most likely the sniper boss that's guarding the trader. The trader was holding one of the cultists, the necklace with one of the cultist signs on it. In a lot of the screenshots and in the trailer for the Lighthouse Expansion, there was a lot of cult stuff. So this guy's definitely in with the cultists, which will be interesting.
I need to watch that again. I was deep into fucking Bowser
Mario
in the Dark World.
It'd be
I swear to God, dude, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch that part.
That's so funny. It would be interesting if the item you needed to like gain access, only the cultists had or something like that. It would force people to go night raids more often if you wanted to go Lighthouse. I don't know. What we did hear about that was new, which was that he said there's going to be new areas of the water treatment plant as well. He said it's not just the Lighthouse, the expansion. And I don't know how you could do that without verticality, either gaining access to the roofs or there's like a tunnel system below like they did T2. Like where else could they expand?
They're all of the circular sections. There's only like one, the silo or whatever the only one of them is full.
Open. Yeah.
So they could replace, there's like 2, maybe 3 other ones that are just inaccessible. So they could put a tower there.
Yeah,
or
a tower, or even
silo,
like you know how you can spawn up at the on reserve. You can spawn up at the top by the Red Rebel extract, and you can go down the spiral thing. Like what if one of those things you could enter, and there was a spiral staircase going down, and there was like
an underground area.
Like that would be kind of sick. But he said new stuff there. So,
and did he also mention the boss?
He said multiple bosses.
Yeah. So, well, the only reason why I give a fuck about that is because when I interviewed him, I basically was like, "Hey, fix the rogues," and he was like, "I want to, but I'm gonna hold off until we add the new boss." So I expect the rogues. I'm expecting the rogues to be unbroken when the new boss comes out.
Or else I'm coming for you, Nikita.
Unless I'm gonna send him a strongly worded DM.
Yep.
With some sort of happy face gif at the end.
I hope so.
So that he doesn't hate.
But yeah, so the boss, this he said, he was like, it's not ready yet. There's some things we're working on. It's soon, but not soon. So like we're getting DLSS in the next week or so. That will not be the update with the Lighthouse expansion. I guess we're maybe a month or 2 away from that. I don't know. So that was it. That was like all of the big things he did. He was, of course, like talked about Streets really quickly. They asked. He actually had some really interesting stuff to say about Streets. I still maintain that I think they had something to show us that got pushed about Streets. He said they have a ton to show us. He said that the animators and the environmental developers, he said that they like have been able to work much faster recently. Like he said something to the effect of like they're flying now, which is at least what they've been saying they've been trying to work towards for a while, giving the devs the tools to actually go through.
I'm sure a lot of that probably comes with engine updates.
Engine updates, yes. A year ago, or 8 to 10 months ago now, they showed us the Battle for Concordia trailer for Streets, and at that time they said that whole area is basically done, that they just needed to put loot there. Here we are 8-10 months later, they said we're on a updated Unity engine, and he said that they've been doing really well. So he said that they have a lot to show us. I'm assuming that if Streets is still on the table, it's like December 31st at 11:57 p.m. You know what I mean? Like this year,
yeah.
Like so.
Every time you say Battle for Concordia, I think of the Cost of Concordia, that internet historian video.
Oh my god!
About the cruise ship. I can't not.
Such a good video,
dude. Which is one of my favorites.
Such a good video.
I can't help but think about that video. Just the fucking French guy, like.
Oh my god, that was a great video. So I don't know. I really hope we get any information there, any sort of new trailers. I hope we get some more Streets information. I know, listen, all right. Optimistic Jesse is always here. I can't not be. It's who I am. It's who I am, Veritas. All I want to say before I say Optimistic Jesse, last year and like the summer, they said they wanted to get Lighthouse, VoIP, Inertia, and a new engine update out this year. And it was like this summer. They were like, we want to get all that out. And all of us were like, 0% chance. 0% chance you get all of that out. Like the whole white box phase of Lighthouse debacle where we were like, wait, what do you mean? And he was like, no, yeah, like we have nothing. And they did it. They got out Lighthouse, Inertia,
Unless he
VoIP.
was lying to me.
Unless he was lying to you. We got Lighthouse, we got Inertia, we got VoIP, we got a new engine update, and 12.12, I still maintain, is one of the best wipes that's ever come to the game. So with that being said, he says we're getting a Lighthouse expansion, Arena, and Streets this year, which would be insane. It would be insane.
Okay, I'm trying to remember did he say Streets this year?
Not yesterday. The last time they talked about Streets, he said Streets this year. And then yesterday he said that things were going really good for Streets and that they would have more to show us soon. So he hasn't said not this year since he said this year. So
okay.
So I'm just saying, once again, I know it's the meme, chat and you YouTube commenters out there. I know it's the meme. I know it's been Streets next year since 2017. I understand that, but I can't help but be optimistic. And they absolutely knocked it out of the park last year with accomplishing their goals. So maybe, just maybe, we get it, or at least something. Oh yeah, and that's actually true. Somebody in chat said they have never talked more about the release of the game. He said the word release 11 times. Everything was in reference to pushing towards the release of the game. Now, he didn't say that was going to come this year. I actually think he said that they wanted to announce this year when the release will be. So like the release isn't going to be for maybe 2 more years or whatever. Mm-hmm. But their tone has definitely shifted towards like, we've got to get this goddamn game done. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I can't help but be optimistic, but I've been burned many times. So we'll see. We'll see.
I just noticed underneath in that screenshot of the Lighthouse Keeper, it said Light Keeper, and then under it is Verium Cognoscere.
Yeah.
Which means to know the truth.
Yep.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. Good question. Yeah.
I'm just going to assume it's a reference to me, and then
Yeah.
just someone said the other day, dude, you have 2 streamer items, because if you actually look at the Bitcoin in the game on the back of it, I mean, it's it has like 3 words or whatever, and one of them is Veritas.
That's
on it.
so funny.
I was like, oh yeah, no, that's a
funny.
reference to me, totally. It has nothing to do with the Latin language.
No. But that was it, man. That was the podcast. He said, of course, like tidying up at the end, more gear and weapons that they can't show us. They've been working on this graphical overhaul for a while now, and he said that he made it sound like this year was stacked, but that this was all they could show us, and it really did feel like on some level this podcast was just like, hey, we're alive. You know what I mean? Like we're working, and I get that. So it was a short podcast. They showed us what they could show us, and it was. I
kind of respect that. Like, we're gonna show you, and we're gonna get fucking back to work.
Yeah. Like, oh, so true. Somebody in chat. Did I put this in my notes? He said that they wanted the custom armor hitboxes and customizable rigs in the next. He said next patch, and once again, language barrier. I'm almost 100% positive he meant next wipe patch, right? Like,
I thought he said that's it. Almost. God, I really need to watch it again to where I'm actually paying attention. But the gist I got from it was like, we're doing the armor repair kits, blah blah blah, and then like, don't worry, we're still working on the customizable, dynamic rig, blah blah blah. But like,
he said that he was like, yeah, we're still working on that. That's coming next patch. Like, he ended it with like,
did he say the next patch? Like, did he mean like not 12.13, but like 12.13.2 or whatever?
Maybe,
because there were a couple times he was like, the next patch is coming out, at
that's why point. That's why it's confusing.
Then he said the patch after next for at least one thing.
Yeah, that's why it's confusing, because like the next, like technically we're getting a patch in 6 days that has DLSS, and then the Lighthouse thing is going to be a patch, but most likely not a wipe, and we know Streets is going to come with a wipe. So like, he was like, in next patch, who knows? But it definitely felt, I don't know, I felt like the last time we heard about that, he was like, oh man, like that's not gonna be for a while. You know what I mean? And then this time he was like, yeah, it's going to the next patch. So I have no idea.
Dude, you got people asking you fucking when's the wipe? It's happening again.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.
It's happening.
It's happening
again,
already,
dude.
For sure.
But of course that makes me wonder, like, and maybe it's because I've just been doing history of Tarkov, and I put a little wipe logo on the timeline, and it was like November wipe, January wipe, March wipe, May wipe. Like,
yep, they did a lot
every month or every other, because
back in the
they
day
were making so many,
huge changes.
So back in the day, it used to be people would complain about the wipes, but it used to be, in the narrative was, we're making like game-breaking significant changes that it's too difficult from a development standpoint. And then all of a sudden it started to be, we were still saying that to defend the wipes, when it stopped seeming like that was the case. And now it's almost never the case. Now it's like, it's been long enough where we want to reset everybody. Like, to keep the, like, that's what it seems like to me.
And it's probably some combination of both, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Where they try and stack a bunch of, they don't want to wipe without any content, so they try and stack up a bunch of content. Maybe not all the content really needs wipe, but maybe some of it they'd like one, and it's kind of the community, and they kind of, it's probably.
I can see like maybe with an engine update, like that would be.
But then we got Unity 2019 and just like a Thursday update.
Yeah.
They gave us 2019 in like October, and then we wiped in December. It was just like, oh, that was weird, because to get to Unity 2018 was in 12.0 when we got Reserve. It was like a big wipe. That was one of the biggest features of the wipe, was Unity 2018. But we got Unity 2019. It was just like, hey, we're pushing this patch out, and everybody was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, true.
So I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was the podcast. I mean, we're coming up on, there's some other things I wrote down. Dude, just really quickly for this time to kill thing. Dude, so we talked about, like, we've talked many times about, the good old days of Tarkov and how the time to kill was less, you know what I mean? It was longer back then. I watched your freaking History of Tarkov video, bro, and I don't know what you're smoking. In 80% of those clips, those guys were going down in 1 or 2 bullets. I was watching your video, like, smiling, because so many of the clips, people were dying so fast. Now, there was a different balance back then. So like that Warren clip, for instance, where he literally dumped like 2 mags into that guy's Alton. Like that would never happen today for sure. There were like certain things that were OP, but like, dude, so many.
Well, so first of all, like, are you talking about the Mosin montage?
No, I'm talking about.
I don't think I'm
talking about like old school factory clips, like where I could tell.
Yeah, but that was 0.10.
Yeah, but when are you talking about was fun?
0.7, 0.8.
Oh, okay.
0.10 was already 0.10 is late, dude. Interchange was the brand new thing, and that's late Tarkov.
Okay.
Interchange is late Tarkov, dude. I'm talking about. I played in 0.5, 0.6, 0.7.
Yeah,
0.8.
I just okay.
Go watch the old ones. There's the clip of Pestily with a 60 round AK-74 mag going, hitting every fucking shot, and the dude's just like, oh, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Watch those old ones, because that's what I'm talking about.
Because 0.9 and 0.10 were old for me, because that's when I started playing, and I'm like, dude, what are you like? It's
because you're a Tarkov baby.
Tarkov.
No, I said it was some of the most fun.
Yeah.
But it was in the previous episode that I said
the time to kill
because of the longer time to kill,
Yeah.
and that's when I did the montage of. It was like I had an M4.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, it took 20 rounds or whatever of a magazine to kill a guy, and then I would do the same exact area, like, you know, modern day, and I was like, dead. You know what I mean? So
true.
But like you said, even then, 40 rounds of like the best ammo in an MP7 would not kill somebody in the head.
Yeah.
Now, you'd go and they'd be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, armored worked better.
And I'm not even, and once again, I'm not even disagreeing with you that I would I would love a slightly longer time to kill. I think it would make the game more skill based in the combat, but it was just funny. But I guess you're right. It's more this 0.7, 0.8 was when you would consider the golden years of time to kill specifically.
Yeah, and I think the only so there's a couple of noteworthy things in there, because I was also editing to music.
Yeah,
there were times like there was a Pestily clip and a Tweak clip where, like, when Tweak on Shoreline like wipes the 3-man.
Yeah,
there was 2 or 3 more peek shoot reload peek shoot reload. They were, you know, in there that I cut out completely. So it, you know, it's like dead. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it's like
the montage.
I have 80 clips I want to fit into 4 minutes. You know, so
yeah,
no, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Little show business.
Yeah.
I get that.
You got to do this. 2005, man. We got a fucking 360 no scope.
Yeah.
Dude,
100%.
Imagine Dragons.
Oh my god, the montages. And the only other really quick thing, I had a chat with some of the like Uber PvP chads of Tarkov recently.
I saw the first like 7 minutes of that video, and then while I was eating during stream the other day.
Yeah, I mean it's a 2.5 hours. It's a it's a podcast basically. It's a long conversation, but one of the things HyperRat had an idea. We ended up like way later in the video talking about what you and me talked about how like there's a lot of missed opportunities around dog tags to make PvP like rewardable even if you die, you know what I mean? And he had a cool idea that there was some sort of kill confirmed mechanic where if you had a dog tag that like if you killed a guy and you extracted with that dog tag, like that dog tag had like, you know, a gold check mark next to it and it was worth more. So like if you came across like a 5 dead people and you kill the guy that's looting it, you're not making 1 million rubles off these dog tags. They're all a decent value, and then the one you killed. And then that way, if you get out of a raid and you kill 6 dudes, it's like it's pretty huge. And I was like, 100% that's actually a cool idea.
As long as they don't reduce, like they need to buff what we get now and then also add that. Give you I totally would be down for that. And then all they would need to do is just make it so that you can't fucking take you can't take the dog tags from your team. Just make it that. Just make it that you can't take the fucking dog tags from teammates. They already have logic around not doing things with your teammates. For sure. But same, like you in any way you can make it so that you can't take your teammate's dog tag, or you can make it so no matter what your teammate's dog tag isn't, you know, found in raid or isn't kill confirmed, like, or whatever. Like there's so much on the back end, like we've said many times, with all sorts of different items in the game that have these like weird qualifiers on it. It would be very, very easy to make
not farmable with your actual teammates. It would be very easy to do that.
Yeah, and I mean that for a long time wasn't really an issue. But remember how last time I was talking about the people who like the auto kill scripts or whatever?
Oh yeah.
I stopped seeing those. And now what I've been seeing is some weird shit. Like it just doesn't make sense what people are doing unless it's like RMT or whatever.
Yeah.
There was one raid I spawned in around the corner. You know where like breach door is on like the opposite side of the wall from forklifts?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I spawned over there near the back hallway where the expansion is.
Yep.
I ran around the corner and went into forklifts, and there were two guys, a level like 43 and like a level 7, naked. This was the raid where there were 5 bears, 2 bears, and one guy had nothing. The other guy had a single grenade in his pocket. It's like, was he just gonna throw a grenade maybe to try to get like grenade kills, and then also like maybe he was trying to cheese the grenade kill quest? I don't know.
Which you can't do. Teammates don't count for.
I don't know if he didn't know that or what. So then I literally MP7 ran in and just went brr, brr, killed them both, grabbed their shit and was like, huh? And then I went up into factory office. Pro tip: if you're ever in like the 3-floor area and you hear jumping on the 3rd floor, I promise you there's at least 1, probably 3 people. If you open up the right door,
oh yeah, he's up on.
You want to get as close to the left wall as possible, and then crouch. There's somebody up on the filing cabinet, and then almost always there's somebody on the table right around the corner, and then almost always there's a 3rd guy over by the filing cabinet.
100%.
And I went in and with 140 round mag went and killed all 3 of them,
dude.
And they were all shoddy flechette, level 35 dudes or whatever.
And they all reported you.
Yeah, but that's pro tip. That's how you clear that room.
Yeah,
You open up. Nobody falls for the fucking open up the right door, open up the left door, run back and forth. Like, or maybe nobody does it anymore. I just stand in the middle to where I can see both doors, and then you just wait.
Yep.
And you're no longer in one corner, and then you're like, where is he coming from? You can see the feet, you know. But my pro tip is the way that you clear that: open up the right door and peek close to it, and then you clear up on top of there. Then you come in and you look to the left, and there's like a white kind of barrier there.
Yep.
But when you peek, the first thing you look at when you're like slicing the pie is the far right corner.
Yep.
In the back of that room, and then the next thing you look at is up on the desk.
Yep.
And then you go out a little bit further, and then it's filing cabinet.
The filing cabinet.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how you fucking clear. Ever since I started doing that, I haven't died, and I can kill like 2, 3, 4-man squads in that room.
Yep.
Because it's chaos. If there's 3 dudes in there, they can't just. It's crossfire hell.
100%.
So they're all like, oh god, and half the time if I run in, kill one guy, and then run out, you'll hear gunfire and someone else die because they team kill. But so one more thing, the next raid, I spawned in glass hallway, and I was like looking to fight over by, like down towards forklifts.
Oh yeah.
And then I hear D2, or no, whatever the D3, whatever the fucking main exfil is.
Oh yeah.
The metal
gate
door
3,
open. Yeah, gate 3, and I go running over there, and I hear a single pistol shot, and I hear like and then I run in there, and they exfilled. Like, what the fuck are people doing? I don't get.
Dude, that's.
Dude, factory is the weirdest. It's full of shotguns and inexplicable shit.
Just absolute X-Files shenanigans.
I get no idea what's going on.
That's so weird.
These weirdos have to fucking explain to me what they're doing. Maybe they're cheesing whatever. Maybe it's RMT. Maybe they're just dropping their friend a thing. But every time I kill them, they're naked. So maybe they're. I don't know. It's always a high level and a low level.
That's so weird.
Dude, I don't know, man.
That's freaking weird. People are weird.
X-Files is. I need to put all these in a montage where it's just the.
Yep, the X-Files music.
Just over and over and over again.
Dude. Weird, man. But that's about it for the Tarkov stuff. We got a dope podcast. Hopefully next week when we do the podcast, we can talk about our experiences with DLSS. That'd be sick. Good to hear from BSG again. Hopefully we start the communication ramps back up, and this year could be pretty sick. So that's exciting. Also, I want to be a Kappa gamer next time we do the podcast.
There's no way you won't.
It'll be Thursday, and I'll be like, yo, can we do the podcast on Saturday again? I need 2 more days to get some XP.
Yeah. I just bought 2 fucking labs key cards while we did the podcast,
yeah.
so now I can do 2 runs before I
imagine.
switch to fucking Super Mario.
But thank you guys for hanging. I appreciate you being here. The response, dude, the amount of people that come in and say they love the podcast, stop by the stream for the first time, it's crazy, man. It like really is super cool. So thank you guys for hanging.
And we have a Pogcast YouTube channel. Still so many people don't know that we have a YouTube channel. So if you want to support us, go sub to the channel. I've never said this before because it hurts my fucking soul, but hit the bell icon.
Hit the notifications. Yeah.
Because you don't always get every single subscription in your sub feed. It's a curated list of your subscriptions.
Yep.
So if you never watch a podcast video, you're never gonna get a podcast video necessarily if you're sub to a lot of people. So there's a lot of people that are like sub for the algorithm, and we love you guys.
Yeah, seriously. So this will be there if you missed it. If you'd only caught part of the conversation, it'll be live on like Spotify and all the podcast platforms, and live on YouTube early next week, which it's Saturday. So just a few days from now, it'll be up. So thank you guys for hanging, and we will definitely see you all in the next one.
Peace.